session with fourth-year English majors. In this video, we sit down with a future educator who is currently in his fourth year of training to become an English teacher. During a candid interview, we uncovered the real challenges he encountered during his experiences at the high school level.
We aim to go beyond the surface by exploring how these challenges shape their teaching philosophy, classroom approach, and personal growth. Their stories reflect the reality in the field being in the field, where principles meets practice and where passion is tested through experience.
Joining us today is Sir Michael John Caparida, one of our fellow English majors. And through this conversation, we hope to gain not only insights but also inspirations for our own journey as a future educators.
So, good morning mga Katales. We have here our special guest for today's segment. So, please help me welcome Mr. Michael John Caparida.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning. Have a great day.
It's quite a while not seeing you around in the campus. How are you today?
Actually, I'm very fine. I'm totally good. It was very busy last week, but right now, yeah, I am now relaxing.
So I've heard from the lower years that you've already finished your practice teaching,
yes,
and
that's
we
very
know
true.
that you have experienced a lot of challenges in the process. Well, do you mind sharing them with us today?
Yes, that's totally fine. Well, talking about challenges.
Yeah, challenges. What are the challenges that you've experienced in the classroom, especially with the high school students?
Actually, as an English major, it's very difficult for me to handle students with the other subjects.
Yeah.
For English subject, it's easier. But one of the major challenges that I have encountered was the lack of vocabulary of the students,
Yeah.
especially the grade 7 students. When I speak English, when I teach English, it's really useless. I really need to use vernacular language like Bisaya,
Yeah.
Cebuano before I say it to an English language. Like for example, I am reading a story, then I really need to read aloud and explain them word by word, phrase by phrase, sentence by sentence, and I need to really teach them, do a hands-on teaching word by word. Because they don't know even the single word. They don't even know how to pronounce the word family. Actually, yes. Actually, that's so shocking.
Well, that's very unfortunate.
Yes, that's really true. And I think that's the major challenges that I have experienced, the lack of vocabulary of the students right now. Yes.
And now that you've shared to us the challenges that you face, especially in teaching English, what about the classroom management? Like, how did you handle the challenges during your time as your pre-service?
As a student teacher.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, it's quite difficult for us to really handle students. For us as a practice teacher, because we cannot deny that we're still a student.
Yes.
Yeah, we're still a student. But the best way for us to handle the classroom management is to never let your guard down and show a bigger standard or have this kind of authority towards your students. You need to have the authority, like every time you enter the room, then the students will listen to you, the students will behave. Not necessary for you to shout, not necessary to ask the student to sit down. But at the time or at the moment that you enter the room, they really have in their mind, sir is here, so you need to listen. Like you need to stand up your ground and stay firm with your authority. Authority is very important as a teacher.
Just have that aura.
Yes, the aura.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
true, the aura.
Yes. Then since Mr. Caparida is known for one of the most outstanding president, so it's not new to us that he will able to overcome those challenges.
The aura itself.
Yeah.
Well, Sir Caparida, I have also written some questions in here, and here is one question. Let me choose one. Were there any particular lessons that didn't go as planned? How did you adapt?
Yeah, a lot of times. I have experienced a lot of times. Like I prepare my lesson plan, I have prepared my instructional materials, But suddenly, when I teach that to my students, one time I teach them talking about figure of speech, like the 8 common
Yeah.
figure of speech, and then suddenly they don't know they don't even know even a single one type of types of figure of speech. They don't even know. So instead of teaching straight ahead with that lesson, I need to change it that time. So I decided to, okay, since you don't know about this one, I need to teach you first the proper way of introducing
So
the
you mean you
lesson.
go back to the basics?
Yes. I really did to teach them, like starting from the nouns, pronouns, and all that all that lessons, because
Back
they
to basics.
yes, back to basic. For me, I'm able to handle that one. You need to be an expert enough with that certain matter, with that certain subject matter. Even if it's not your major subject, even if it's math or science or any other subjects, you need to prepare. And you need to be an expert in the eyes and the front of the students. Why? Because they're depending on you. You're standing there as a teacher. You are there as a teacher, so you need to act like a teacher. You need to speak like a teacher. And don't allow your students to see you or to make it obvious that you don't know the lesson. Be an expert, even if you're not totally an expert. So the teacher is a good pretender, but the teacher is the most flexible one.
Wow.
So you need to be flexible anytime and all the time.
So yes, it's true, Mr. Sir Caparida, because also based on my Grelatives experience, she's teaching now in that ed. So there are instances that your lesson plan will she didn't use her own
Yes.
lesson plan because of that scenario that some of the students or most of the students doesn't know what is noun,
Yes,
doesn't
exactly.
know what are verbs.
Yes.
So back to basics.
Yeah, that's
But
the
because
basics,
we're
but-
teachers, we are all flexible, creative, just to deliver
Yes,
our
exactly.
topic well. So upon hearing that statement from you, what are your practical tips, your strategies overcoming those challenges?
This is somehow very difficult question. But actually, talking about tips, let me ask first, is it a personal tips or just a professional tips?
Maybe both, personal
Very
and...
both. Let's start with professional
yeah.
tips, educational tips. I told you this one, be an expert, and it means you need to be an expert with a subject, then you need to find a ways how to teach that one without IMs, without instructional materials. Like, if you can dance, then you will dance. If you can sing, then you will sing. That you will do everything, no matter what happened, without IMs. Like, you need to catch the attention of the students professionally, without even shouting, "Hey, listen to me," without saying that one. You can you are an eye catcher. You are a
Head turner.
Yeah, head turner. I really like that term. And you need to have that kind of aura. Now, every time you speak, they will listen. Maybe we have different kinds of methodologies and strategies. But if for you, for me, this is my personal tips, my personal way. I never let my guard down to show my aura to my students. Like every time when I speak, then the students will listen. Then every time my students are doing something, then I don't shout my students, "Okay, what are you doing there? What are you doing there?" No, I'm not doing. I didn't do that one. Actually, I go to that student and tap the shoulder.
Wow.
And that's my best so far. That's the best way I have done. Like every time one time I taught them the story of Talagang Magayon, and it's a very long story actually for the grade 7 students, and it's very difficult for me to teach them that lesson, especially literature. Because literature is very boring actually.
Yes.
It's very boring. It's very difficult for us to find strategies how to teach literature.
Remember it.
They don't even know they don't know the words and they don't know the story.
Yes.
So the best way for me, I read it, read aloud, translate into Bisaya, and then Like, okay, dalagan magayon, take a bath into the river, then I do that. Like everything and everything.
with actions.
With actions, with action in English, with action in Bisaya and Cebuano. Like you need to do everything. Everything for you to be, for you to catch the attention of your students and to make your class an engaging one. Like one. So it really depends on you. You are not depending to your students, but every time, every classes, it always depends on the teacher.
So thank you for the
Yeah.
tips and strategies.
So
Because I believe also that most of the students nowadays, they're not into reading.
Yes,
That's
Yeah.
why it's
actually.
very difficult for
Yes,
them
You have
very
to be
true.
to
enthusiastic
understand
Mm.
literature, to appreciate
Yes.
literature. So it's for you, it's you teacher
Yeah.
to make them appreciate
But
that
you
literature.
cannot deny that
Yes.
after teaching that one, it's very draining.
Yes, of course, it's very
Yeah.
difficult.
It's very draining.
Because
especially if you're acting.
Yeah.
So despite of you feeling drained, exhausted with that work,
Yeah.
so what qualities or traits that make you memorable or inspiring?
This one. I don't like at the first place. This is not my first choice. I don't want to be an educator actually. I want to be a doctor, engineer, and philosopher. And I like that one. But since I am now standing as a teacher, as a student teacher, then you need to love what you're
Yes,
doing.
be passionate.
Yeah, be passionate even if you're not totally passionate.
Yeah.
And
Because the teacher is a good pretender, as you
yeah,
said.
exactly. And this one, as a teacher, you need to have self-initiative.
Yes.
selfish.
Please never depend on the other teachers, especially to
Yes.
your other student teachers. I have met, I heard a lot of this one. The teachers are just asking, what have you done for your
Yes.
class, like that, what are your strategy, what have you done? Then I really tried to make my own way. Yes,
And
be different. Be different. Because I learned this one. Actually, this is something to be proud of, to announce that in the school where I did my practice teaching, I have been chosen as the best practice teacher among the three of us. Why? Because I talk to my students when we are inside the classroom. I am the teacher. Like I am a teacher, I am a friend, I am the speaker, and I am also the listener. I want them to play inside the classroom, not an obvious play like playing like a child,
Yes.
but playing while learning. Like, because my teaching strategy is engaging, like, but still the aura,
Yes,
still
yes.
the aura is
Aura.
there. But every time that the students are without me and my students are talking outside, then I talk to them like a normal person. I talk to them like, okay, talking about ML, elections, especially males. Male students are very difficult to catch
Yes.
inside the classroom. So that my strategy is to catch them outside the classroom. So that when we are having our classes, it seems like
They're comfortable.
they're comfortable with me because we already have this kind of conversation
Yeah.
outside to
Yes.
build that connection with them. Yes. And always remember, this is what I have learned. Learning is not just, it's not happening only in the
In the
classroom.
class, yeah.
It's always happening around, all around, everywhere, every time, or anytime. So yeah, that's the thing.
So hearing those words, those experience, it's quite difficult for Miss Sir Caparida,
Yeah.
but look at her, look at him now.
Yeah.
Like it seems like it's very easy for him to did those
Not that
words.
easy, but I did.
Yeah, because you're passionate
Yeah.
and best pretender.
Best pretender.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I just really love what he said, like, be different, because being different can make you also stand out.
Yes.
In some
Yes,
ways,
actually.
yes.
You cannot stand out with the same,
Yes, yes.
like, you need to be different.
Yeah.
So thank you, Sir Caparida, for those
Very
insightful
insightful.
tips, strategies, and for sharing your experience in your student teacher journey. So can you give us a what do you call this, a statement or a quote to inspire our future educators?
Okay, this one. Actually, this is the biggest word of my life. leadership. Okay, talking about leadership, you need to lead yourself. Because no one will help you.
Yes.
Especially if you're a teacher, no other teachers will come to you. I will help you, teacher. Teacher, can you please help me this one? Teacher, please help me to teach this child. Teacher, please help me how to use these items. Teacher, can you please help me how to navigate the laptop, how to use the instructional materials, how to use the TV. No one will help you during during the teaching process. You need to stand up there as a strong person, as an independent person, and as a person with self-initiative. Even if you don't know, you need to know.
Yes.
Even if you can, you need to do it. Yeah, so you need to lead yourself and have this self-initiative.
So thank you for that message, Sir Caparida. So,
Katales.
yes, Catales, that's all for today. So I hope you gain a lot of learnings from our special guest, no other than Sir Michael John Caparida. Thank you and see you next
Video.
If you want more insightful topics, just like, share, and comment the person that you want to be interviewed in the next video. Till next time!